Hello and welcome to my Tarot Corner. Thank you for each and every one of you who comes back, and thank you for all of your kind comments. I really enjoy reading them. And just one thing that I want to emphasize, when you want me to do a reading on any kind of question you have, please send me an email. I always answer emails, and I always try to accommodate and do the readings, even if it's not in the same day. I do the research that I need to do, and then when I feel ready, I am doing those readings. But the best way to do that and to ask a question is not in the comments, but by email. And you can see the email in my description box. It's right up there after the timestamps. Okay, so just tell you the truth, I thought about the subject of this reading yesterday, and I thought to myself, with all of the shenanigans that the Harkles are planning, and they are planning, maybe the best reading I should do is the king strong enough to stand within all of those shenanigans that they are planning? And then this morning, the first thing that I read is an article saying that Meghan's memoir is going to focus on the confrontation that will be during the coronation. So they haven't even said that they are coming to the coronation. They haven't even obliged to accept the invitation. And she's already planning to focus her memoir on a confrontation that hasn't happened yet. So it's quite clear that the royal family will have to be very, very careful, so there won't be any confrontations. But she will find reasons for confrontations in every step of the way. It's quite clear that no matter what they do, she will find reasons to why it is offending and why it is confronting. So that was the one thing. And then I listened to Neil Sean, and Neil Sean said in one of his videos that I will link below, says that the king is not at all opposed to having Harry near him on the balcony, and he actually wants to have Harry, even for a moment, for a snap on the balcony. And naturally Harry wants his whole family on the balcony. So I think that this is a bad idea for the king to have Harry on the balcony. And if he has Harry on the balcony, then he will have to explain why he's not having Prince Andrew on the balcony. That will open a can of worms. So King Charles will have to be very, very careful in his decisions of who is on the balcony and who is not. So I've decided to do a different kind of reading, and instead of a Celtic cross asking if the king is strong enough to deal with the shenanigans, I am going to do a reading that it's a 9-card reading asking what needs to be done. And this is the Legacy Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. It's a beautiful tarot deck, and I think that the main reason that I'm using it is because it's a time that King Charles will think about the legacy that his mother has left him. Okay, I see that this candle is gone, but no, never mind. Okay, so I'll just finish this shuffle and start with my disclaimer. So this is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists by assumption and speculation, and with such, well, I'm sorry, this is the tarot reading. It is vibrational, it is open to interpretation, it exists with assumptions and speculation, and with such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And what I'm going to ask is, what does King Charles need to do regarding Harry, Meghan, and the shenanigans they are planning in regarding to coronation in May the 6th? What does King Charles need to do to diffuse the shenanigans that Harry and Meghan are planning for the coronation on May the 6th? How should King Charles act? What should he do in order to diffuse what Harry and Meghan are planning and the confrontations that they are planning to destroy and to attract attention to themselves for the coronation of King Charles III on May the 6th? So let's cut the deck. The first card is the card that reflects what he needs to do. And what I'm getting here is the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is a very interesting card when we're getting it in what he needs to do, because this is a warning card. This is a card that speaks about destruction and failure that comes because he is right now in this Two of Swords energy. It's the energy of not seeing reality as it is, being disengaged from reality, being unable to cope with reality, and because of that, making mistakes. And King Charles needs to be very, very diligent and very, very careful not to get to the Three of Swords energy. So this is a warning card. This is a card that is telling King Charles that he needs to be very, very careful, because this card is something that is looming over him. If he needs to be very careful, and he needs to be sure that he sees reality as it is, that he knows exactly the danger that Harry and Meghan pose. So this card is telling King Charles, you need to look at things not from an emotional point of view, but from a logical point of view. Swords are air energy, and when swords come up, they are telling the querent or whoever we're talking about to think logically, to see things clearly, not to think out of the emotions. This is a card that it's telling King Charles to put emotions aside and not to overlook warnings because of emotional reasons, because then he will face heartbreak, self-destruction. This is a card that is telling him not to overlook warnings, not to get into... This is a very serious card that is showing King Charles the danger. So there is a big danger here. And King Charles is in danger because he is starting to think about how can he start to attract Harry back. He can't attract Harry back. Harry is not about coming back. He is about how can I get that Kodak moment for myself, for my family? How can I get the things that I need for the next, for my next ventures, for my next fight against the royal family? How can I get more information? How can I get more material? Harry is not coming with pure intentions. He's not coming with a pure heart. And King Charles needs to realize that. So this is a warning card that is telling King Charles that the first thing that he needs to understand is that he needs to take off that blindfold that is not allowing him to see that reality and to see, and he needs to be very, very diligent. He needs to think clearly, think logically, understand that Harry is under the control of someone who is a narcissist, someone who is controlling him. Harry is not the child, is not the son that he loves. He is not the same person that he used to know. And right now, if he is letting go, or if he is, if he gives up, even if it's a small count, even if it's just letting Harry come to the balcony, it's going to be a very big heartache for King Charles. It's going to end up badly. So King Charles needs to realize that this is a terrible, terrible warning card for King Charles. And this is the main thing that he needs to do. Okay, so what is the most effective way for him to do that? And what I'm getting here is, sorry, the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is a card that is calling for action, like all twos. The twos are cards that are action cards. Those are cards that are, all twos are cards that are talking about a crisis, a disillusion. And in the Two of Cups, we're talking about the need to start doing, being the suitor and not waiting to be courted. So King Charles will have to be the one who is active here. He will have to be the one that thinks about ways of how to loom maybe Harry in other ways than promising him things that he can use against the royal family, but he needs to start being active. He needs to start initiating things and maybe develop some kind of a relationship with Harry that it can maybe go beyond Meghan. Maybe he can do that, but this is a card that is telling King Charles that he needs to start being active, not wait for others to do the work for him. This is something that he needs to do by himself. So he needs to try and connect with Harry. He needs to try and show Harry some emotions, love. He needs to try to show Harry that he cares without letting him win. So it's a very delicate game here. It's a very thin line. So this needs to be under wraps. This needs to be secretive. This cannot be something that is publicized. This cannot be something that is seen, not in the coronation proceedings, not in the coronation process, ceremony, not in the balcony. This is only a beginning of a reconnection, because this is a 2. This is not a 10. This is a 2. So this is a beginning of a way. So King Charles will have to start doing things in order to bring his son back. But it's going to be a beginning of a courtship. It's like a beginning of a courtship of a man after a woman, but only a beginning. So it's not something that can be public, and it has to be really under wraps. But this is how he can start maybe diffusing that very, very dangerous energy of the Three of Swords by letting Harry know that he loves him, letting him feel the love, because the cups are cards of emotions. Cups are emotional energy, loving energy. And the Two of Cups is a card of loving energy. So, but it is a card that is telling King Charles to be more active, and he needs to do that by himself. He cannot rely on others to do that. So he will have to start courting Harry, but it will have to be under wraps. It doesn't have to be right now until it can be even after the coronation. He can maybe postpone it, but maybe he can do that in the meantime. But in order to diffuse the tension before the coronation, but it has to be something that is secretive, that Meghan doesn't know, because if she does know, then it will be detrimental. So it has to be very carefully planned. Okay, so what is the course of action that is in best alignment with King Charles's goals? And what I'm getting here is the Queen of Cups. Now that's interesting because the Queen of Cups is Scorpio, and the Queen of Cups and King Charles himself is a Scorpio. So this is about being himself. This is also about being adventurous. So trying things that he hasn't tried before, trying to take risks. So, because Scorpio are people that are taking risks. This is about being able to face changes, even though you want stability, but to be able to face changes. So to understand that Harry changed, and to be able to accept the changes, but also, as all court cards are people that need emotional and mental health support, I think that King Charles will have to get that mental health support for himself, and maybe that will help him to navigate his way towards Harry's heart as well. This is a card of someone that needs to break conventions. So in his courtship after Harry, he will have to break conventions. So he will have to do that in a very, in a very mysterious and adventurous way. So that will have to be something that it's not something that we can think of in, just like that. It will be something that has to be very, very carefully planned and thought. But just to be very, very clear, the Scorpio can destroy in order to build. And King Charles needs to understand that, so that in order to build a new relationship with Harry, you will have to destroy things, and maybe destroy the previous things that were the previous relationship that they had, and maybe relationships that he has today with people that maybe are not helping him in this relationship. This could be also finding a way to get rid of Meghan, but it is about destroying things that are standing today in order to rebuild a connection with Harry. So he will have to find out what are the things and how can he do that. Okay, so the next card is, what is King Charles' anticipated result? And what I'm getting here is, the Ten of Coins. So the Ten of Coins is a card of abundance, of happiness, and I'm reminding you that the Ten of Coins is usually a card of happy family as well, a happy legacy. This is usually a card of a family that we see a four generation with dogs and everything, but here it is mostly about abundance, about keeping the family together. So really this is what he expects. He expects that when he does reconnect with Harry in a good way, he will be able to keep the family together, to keep the richness and the abundance of the family together. So this is what he wants to achieve. This is his goal. This is what he wants to get. So what is he thinking about? King Charles right now, and right now we get the King of Swords. So right now in King Charles' mind, he's thinking about how to pacify Harry, which I don't like, because this is part of why he's willing to let Harry come to the balcony. He is thinking about, how can I get an equilibrium? How can I get everyone to agree? How can I get the minimum of confrontation and the minimum of strife? And I don't want any arguments, so maybe I should let Harry come to the balcony. He doesn't understand that this will only play to Meghan's hands, because then she will be able to say, yeah, Harry could come to the balcony, I couldn't, and my son Archie wasn't invited to the coronation, although it was his birthday, and he couldn't come to the balcony, although it was his birthday. So she will have a lot to say about that. So King Charles will have to stop thinking like the pacifier king, because this is what the King of Swords is. He is the pacifier king, the Libra king, and he's the one who keeps on thinking about, how can I pacify everyone? How can I make peace? And this is just, it's not working with the Queen of Cups, because the Queen of Cups is the opposite. She's the one who says, no, adventurous, try to new things, destroy in order to build. This is not going together with pacifying everyone and it's trying to make peace with everyone. So, but this is what he's thinking right now. So this is something that he will have to stop. But this is what he's thinking. What is he feeling right now? And right now his feelings are the Ace of Swords. So he really thinks that his thoughts and ideas and his plans are okay. He thinks, he feels that he's planning right. He feels that he can, that his plans are the right plans. His thoughts are the right thoughts, that he knows what he's doing. This is what he feels. He feels that his plans are the right plans. He doesn't feel that anything is wrong. So this is only showing us why we got the Three of Swords at the beginning, because the Three of Swords is a warning card for someone that right now is in the Two of Swords position. And the Two of Swords is a person that his eyes are masked, that he's not seeing reality as it is. And we see that he doesn't see reality as it is, because if he thinks that he can put Harry on the balcony and the people will cheer him, then he doesn't understand that his ideas are not the right ideas. But he doesn't see that. He thinks that it's okay. So if that is what he thinks that he can pacify everyone, and he feels that his plans are the right plans, then he is not seeing reality as it is, and he needs to wake up, because if he doesn't wake up, he will end up in this Three of Swords energy, which is a shame. So this is only showing us how dire the position we are and how difficult it is. Okay, so the next card is any judgmental thoughts that King Charles might be experiencing. I'm sorry, but the book with the spreads fell. So any judgmental thoughts that he might be experiencing right now, and we're getting the King of Cups. Interesting, because the King of Cups is usually the card that I get for Harry. And this is the deprived king. This is the king, the person that always feels that he's not getting what he deserves. This is the person that is motivated by the need for emotional stability. The person that always feels that he needs his mother, and he's finding it hard to detach from his mother. The person that feels that he's not receiving what he deserves. This is the whiner king. This is how I describe Harry usually. And this is how King Charles sees Harry. So he has the same judgmental thoughts about Harry as we do. So he also sees Harry as a whiner, as someone who is in dire need for mental health therapy, but the right one. He sees him as someone who cries a lot and is acting as if he's deprived, but he's actually not. So he sees him as we do. So he has a lot of judgmental opinions on Harry, which probably are correct, but it's still judgmental to say that Harry is a whiner, that he's whining, that he's well, everything that we're saying about Harry. So he thinks the same. So he has the same judgmental views that we do about Harry. Maybe it's not very convenient for him to admit that, but he does have it. Okay, so what is the best thing for King Charles to do at the moment? And the best thing for him to do is the Knight of Coins. The Knight of Coins is the hesitant knight. And that means someone who is looking for confirmation, someone who is not running straight forward and not doing things without looking and thinking and looking for confirmation. So this means that right now, King Charles cannot take any decisions. This is what this card is saying. This card is saying that right now, this is what King Charles needs to act as if he is the Knight of Coins, as if he is the hesitant knight. He needs to start hesitating before making decisions. He needs to start getting advice from people, from trusted people, before he makes decisions. He needs to listen to advice. He needs to start, as I said before, seeing reality as it is, listening to the right kind of advice, listening to the people, and start looking at the polls, start seeing, listening, or seeing how the people react, and understanding the implications of the things that he might do. So this card is telling King Charles, right now you need to be hesitant before you make decisions. Don't make decisions right now. Wait and start making the deliberations that you need to make before you make decisions, but wait and look for the confirmations that you need to look for before you make the decisions. And the last card for this spread is the most appropriate course of action for King Charles. And what we're getting here is strength. So the most appropriate course of action for King Charles is to find the control that he needs within himself. This is what strength means. So it means that he needs to find his control within himself. This is a card of finding confidence, serenity, courage, faith. This is about finding all of those things within himself. And then once he finds all of those things about inside himself, and this is, he can find it by prayer, he can find it by meditation, any kind of way that helps him get his self-confidence, find his control within himself. All of those things will help him start seeing reality as it is, and will help him make the right decisions. So, but this is the first step. The first step is to find that control, and once he finds that control and he has that self-confidence, then he will be able to make the right decision. He will be able to start making the right plans, and not thinking that he's now making the right plans, because it looks like that right now he is acting out of self-defense and not out of self-confidence. Okay, so that is the tarot. And to say the truth, I have 2 oracle decks here because I wanted to see if the first oracle deck is giving us a good answer. It's the Gospel of ARADIA, and I chose it because ARADIA is a goddess that, as far as I understand, she was the daughter of the goddess Diana. And I really like the messages of these cards, so I thought that this could give us a good message. But if we don't get a good message from this deck, then I have here on call the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck that can also give us good advice. So this is about advice for King Charles on dealing with the Harkles towards the coronation. So let's start with the Gospel of ARADIA and see what kind of message we're getting. Okay, so clearing the deck. Okay, so advice for King Charles on dealing with Harry and Meghan before the coronation and during the coronation. Advice for King Charles on dealing with Harry and Meghan before and during the coronation. Okay, so we got here, let me just see in the book exactly what it means. Okay, so this card is fecundity, which means fertility, and it's not about only fertility, it is about getting growth and and getting plugging into the natural cycle of the seasons. It's about releasing the old. It's about getting aboard for the new. So it's about creating. It's about taking action to reach out to others. So the advice here is to connect with the energies of the seasons, to flow with them, not to resist them, so that King Charles can experience fecundity in his life. But the main energy is about being able to really release the old things and to understand that he can create, he can take action, he can reach out. So this is one oracle card. Let's take another one from the angel and the ancestors, and let's see if we can get maybe a clearer message from this deck. So let's just shuffle it a little and clear the deck. Okay, so let's clear the deck. Okay, a message for King Charles on how to deal with Harry and Meghan before and during the coronation. A message for King Charles on how to deal with the coronation, with Harry and Meghan before and during the coronation. Okay, exchange energy to create abundance. Interesting, because it's very much the same message. This is the trader, and the message of this card is that if you want to achieve something, you need to ask not what can I get, but what can I give? Because if you give, and this is very much like the Six of Pentacles message, if you give to the universe, then you usually get back. And both of these cards are talking about achieving a goal, getting more, getting abundance, getting. Both of these cards are cards that are talking about creating and achieving. So both of these cards are showing us that King Charles is able to achieve his goals, but he probably needs to learn how to give in order to achieve. So this is, I think, the message here. He needs to know how to give something in order to achieve what he wants to get. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.